Morning, one and all. Today we are going to discuss about the what is the working principle of synchronous motor. Okay, in the previous class we already discussed about the basic introduction to the synchronous motor. Okay, a synchronous motor is electrically identical with an alternator or a AC generator. Okay, it is a electrically identical with alternator or the AC generator. Okay, therefore, a given alternator can be used as a motor when driven electrically. Okay, we are taking the synchronous machine that will be run as a motor or as a generator. Okay, we are having the some characteristical features that will be there in the case of a synchronous motor. Okay, that is if runs either a synchronous speed or at all, that is while running it maintains a constant speed. Okay, therefore the synchronous motor maintains the constant speed. The only way to change its speed is to vary the supply frequency. Okay, therefore when the speed will be changes, when the supply frequency is to be changed. Okay, what is the speed for that synchronous motor? Therefore, it is rotated at a constant speed. Then Ns is equal to 120 F by P. Okay, therefore, Ns is the synchronous speed. Therefore, Ns means the synchronous speed. The synchronous motor is run at a constant speed, that is Ns. Therefore, Ns is the synchronous speed. Okay, therefore, what is the formula for synchronous speed of a motor? That is Ns equal to 120 F by P, 120 F by P, where F is the supply frequency and P is the number of poles. Okay, understand ma? And P is the number of poles. When we are changing the frequency, then the synchronous motor speed is changed. Otherwise, it is a constant speed motor. Okay, clear ma? The synchronous motor is a constant motor, that is synchronous speed Ns. Okay, therefore when we are changing the supply frequency, okay, in that case only the motor, that is the that will be rotated in the synchronous speed Ns. Okay, the only way to change its speed is to vary the supply frequency. Therefore, Ns is equal to 120 F by P. Okay, next, what is the next characteristics? It is not inherently self-starting. The motor is not inherently self-starting. It has to be run up to synchronous speed. Okay, it has to be run up to the synchronous speed by means before it can be synchronized to the supply. Before it can be synchronized to the supply. Next, it is capable of being operated under a wide range of power factors, both lagging and the leadings. Okay, therefore it is capable of being operated both for the lagging and the leading power factors. Hence, it can be used for the power correction purpose in addition to supplying the torque. Okay, in addition to supply the torque, and also it gives the power purpose. Okay. These are three characteristics in the case of a synchronous motor. Okay, first one is the it runs either at a synchronous speed or not at all. It is inherently self-starting machine. It is capable of being operated under a wide range of power factors. That means it is operated under a different power factors. It is operated under a different power factors, both for the lagging and the leading power factors. Both for lagging and leading power factors. Okay, these are the three characteristics. Okay, these are the three characteristics for the mission or the synchronous motor. Okay, clear ma? Next, what is the principle of operation of a synchronous motor? What is the principle of operation of a synchronous motor? When a three-phase winding is fed by the three-phase supply. Okay, this is the constructional cross-sectional view of a synchronous motor. Okay, this is the stator and this is the rotor. Okay, clear ma? This is the stator and this is the rotor. Okay, when a three-phase supply is given to the three-phase stator winding, three-phase stator winding, that means when a three-phase winding is fed by a three-phase supply. Okay, this is the three-phase winding. That winding is supplied to the three-phase stator winding. Then the magnetic flux of constant magnitudes but rotating at the synchronous speeds. Okay, this is the stator and this is the rotor. Okay, this is the rotor and this is the stator. When a three-phase supply is given to the three-phase stator winding, therefore the magnetic flux is produced. Therefore, the magnetic flux is produced at a constant magnitudes but rotating at a synchronous speed. But it is rotating at a synchronous speed. Okay, consider a two-pole stator. Okay, this is the two-pole stator, that is the north pole and the south pole, in which as shown two stator poles. Okay, this is the two stator poles that is marked as the NS and the SS, where NS is the north pole and SS is the south pole. Okay, therefore this is rotated at a synchronous speed and clockwise direction. Therefore, it will be rotated at a synchronous speed in the clockwise direction. Okay, since that similarly two poles, that is the N and the S in the rotor. Okay, therefore, two poles, N of the rotor and NS of the stator, as well as S of the rotor and SS of the stator. Okay, therefore, these are the same poles. S and SS are the same poles and N and NS are the same poles. Okay, therefore, we well known about this. The same poles are repelled to each other. Okay, therefore, this NS and the N is repelled to each other, and S and SS is also repelled to each other. Okay, therefore, the rotor tends to rotate in the anti-clockwise direction. Therefore, this NS and the N is repelled to each other, and this SS and S will be repelled to each other. Therefore, this rotor is rotated in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, clear ma? Therefore, this rotor is rotated in the anti-clockwise direction. But half of the period later, the stator poles having the rotated around, half of the cycle completed. Therefore, the north pole and the N and SS is in the same position and S and NS is in the same position. Therefore, in this situation, okay, in this situation, the two are the different poles. This is the S and the NS and this is the SS and the N. Okay, therefore the two different poles are attracted to each other. Okay, therefore in this case these two poles are attracted to each other. Therefore this rotor rotates in the clockwise direction. At this position the rotor rotates in the clockwise direction. Hence we find that due to the continuous and rapid rotation of the stator poles, okay, the rotor is subjected to the torque. Okay, due to the continuous rotation of the clockwise and anti-clockwise directions, okay, therefore the rotor is subjected to a torque. Okay, therefore, which tends to move it first in one direction and another in the opposite direction. First in the anti-clockwise direction and other in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, owing to its large inertia, the rotor cannot constantly respond. Okay, in this case, the rotor cannot constantly respond to such a quickly reversing the torque. Okay, that means the north poles are repelled to each other and south poles are and the south poles are attracted to each other. Okay, therefore that attraction and the repulsion, okay, therefore the attraction and the repulsions, okay, therefore we are rapidly rotation of the stator poles. Okay, hence we find the due to the continuous and the rapid rotation of the stator poles, okay, the rotor is subjected to the torque. Okay, therefore which tends to move first in the one direction and then in the other direction. Owing to the large inertia, the rotor cannot changes instantaneously. Okay, it cannot instantaneously respond to such quickly reversing the torque. Okay, which the result that it remains stationary. Okay, which result that it remains stationary. Okay, clear ma? Okay, when a three-phase winding is fed to the three-phase stator winding, therefore the rotating magnetic field is produced. Okay, due to that rotating magnetic field, okay, it rotates in the constant speed, that is the synchronous speed. Okay, therefore in the two-pole stator winding, that is NS and the SS, and this is the two-pole rotor winding, that is N and the S. Okay, clear? That is N and the S. Okay, since the two similar poles and N and NS as well as S and SS will repel to each other. Okay, therefore these are the similar poles and these are the similar poles. Okay, at this condition both the poles are repelled to each other. Okay, at this condition the rotor rotates in the anti-clockwise direction. At next off cycle, okay, this south pole is come at this side and this north pole is come at this side. Okay, therefore these two poles are repelled to each other. Okay, clear ma? These two poles are repelled to each other. Okay, if the two poles are repelled to each other, then the rotor is rotated in the clockwise direction. Okay, therefore once the rotor rotates in the anti-clockwise direction and once the rotor is rotated in the clockwise direction. Okay, therefore there is a rapid changes in the rotation. Okay, therefore the rotor cannot instantaneously respond to such a quickly rotation reversing of the torque. Okay, which the result it remains the stationary. Therefore, which result it remains the stationary. Okay, clear? Now consider the condition is shown in the figure. Okay, this is the when we are observing the conditions, that is the two conditions. Okay, in that case NS and the SS. Okay, therefore the north pole and the south pole is attracted to each other, then it rotates in the clockwise direction. In this case the stator poles are changed. Okay, therefore when the stator and the rotor poles are attracted to each other, suppose the rotor is not stationary, therefore the rotor is not stationary but it is rotating in the clockwise direction with such a speed that turns through one pole pitch by the time the stator poles are interchange their position. Okay, in this case the stator are interchanging their position, that is NS and the SS like this. Okay, at this condition SS and the NS, and in this condition therefore after the one pole pitch by the time the stator poles are interchanged their positions, therefore NS is like this and SS is like this. Okay, here again the stator and the rotor poles are attracted. Okay, here also two different poles are there. Okay, therefore due to that rotation the north pole and south poles are changes. After the one pole pitch the stator poles is also again changed. Okay, in this condition also two different poles are placed at one place and two different poles are placed at one place. Okay, therefore due to the different poles that will be attracted to each other, it means that if the rotor poles is also shift their positions along with the stator poles, okay, therefore then they will continuously experiences a unidirectional torque. Therefore this will be continuously experiences the unidirectional torque, that is clockwise torque as shown in figure. Okay, clear ma? That is clockwise torque. Okay, this is the basic working principle of a synchronous motor. Okay, clear ma? Next, what are the starting methods are there in the case of a synchronous motors? Okay, what are the starting methods that will be considered for that synchronous mission? Okay, there are several methods to start the synchronous motor. Okay, clear ma? We are having the several methods. Okay, in that first one is the auxiliary drive and second one is the induction torque. Okay, by using the auxiliary drive, we start the motor, or by using the induction torque, we start the motor. Okay, therefore, auxiliary drive means the induction motor or the DC motor. Okay, auxiliary drive means the induction motor or a DC motor, and induction torque is the using damping windings. Okay, induction torque means using damping windings. Okay, generally, the starting procedure is that the rotor, which is at the unexcited, okay, is speeded up the synchronism or the near to the synchronous speed by some arrangement and then excited by the DC source. Why? Because we are considering the different starting methods. The synchronous motor is not a self-starting motor. That's why we are using the separate methods to start the motor. Okay, clear ma? We are using the separate methods for starting the mission. Okay, that is first one is the auxiliary driven. That means by using the induction motor or the DC motor, then we start the synchronous motor. Or by using the damper windings, we are starting the synchronous motor. First, the rotor, which is unexcited, is speed up to synchronism or near to the synchronous speed by some arrangements and then excited by the DC source. Okay, in this course, the rotor is excited by the separate DC source. Okay, therefore, the moment this synchronously rotating the rotor is excited. Okay, therefore, it is magnetically locked into the position with the stator. Okay, that is the rotor poles are engaged with the stator poles and both run synchronously in the same directions, and therefore both will be run synchronously in the same directions. Okay, it is because of this interlocking of the stator and the rotor poles that the motor has either to run synchronously or not at all. Okay, it will be either to run at the synchronously or not at all. How it is important to understand that arrangement between the stator and the rotor poles is not an absolutely rigged. Okay, these are the various starting methods for starting the motor. Okay, as the load on the motor is increases, suppose we are increasing the load on the motor, the rotor is progressively tends to the feedback. Okay, but not in the speed as in the DC motor. Okay, by some angle, but it still continuously runs synchronously. Okay, this is the NS and the North Pole and the South Pole, NS and the S. This is also NS and the S. Okay, this is the light load condition and this is the heavy load condition. At the heavy load condition, the displacement between these two poles are very far when compared to light load conditions. Okay, therefore, the value of this load angle or the coupling angles, it is called and depends upon the amount of the load. Okay, this is the load angle or the coupling angle. Okay, therefore, this is the alpha. That alpha is called as the load angle or the coupling angle. Therefore, this alpha is depending upon the load conditions. Okay, therefore, this alpha is depending upon the load conditions. Okay, in other words, the torque developed by the motor depends on this angle. Therefore, the torque developed by this motor that will be depending on the angle, that is the alpha. Okay, therefore, the torque that will be developed on the motor that will be depending upon the alpha. Okay, this angle is referred as the load angle or the coupling angle. Therefore, this angle is referred as the, okay, therefore, this angle is known as the load angle or the coupling angle. Okay, clear ma? This angle is called as the load angle or the alpha coupling angle. Okay, therefore, this angle between the rotor and the stator fields. Okay, therefore, What is the procedure for starting a synchronous motor using the damper windings? Okay, how we will start the synchronous motors by using the damper windings. While starting a modern synchronous motor is provided with the damper windings. Okay, we are following that procedures. Okay, first one is the main field winding is short circuited. First case is the main field winding is the short circuited. Okay, second case is the reduce the voltage with the help of a auto transformer. Okay, by using the auto transformer, we reduce the voltage and is applied across the stator terminals. Okay, clear ma? And is applied across the stator terminals. Therefore, the motor is start up. Okay, therefore, we are reducing the voltage by using these auto transformers. Okay, first, the main field winding is the short circuited, and second one is that we are reducing that voltage with the help of a auto transformer. Okay, is applied across the stator terminals. Therefore, the motor is start up. When it reaches a steady state speed, okay, suppose it reaches the steady state speed as judged by its sound. Okay, a weak DC excitation is applied by removing the short circuit and the main field winding. Therefore, a DC excitation is applied. Okay, therefore, we are applying that DC excitation by removing the short circuit. Okay, if the excitation is sufficient, then the mission will be pulled into the synchronism. Okay, by using these damper windings, we give the excitation of that windings. Okay, if the excitation is sufficient, then the DC motor, then the synchronous motor attains the synchronism. Therefore, the synchronous motor attains the synchronism. Therefore, the full supply voltage is applied across the stator terminals by cutting out the auto transformers. Okay, therefore, the motor may be operated at any desired power factors by changing the excitation. Okay, therefore, the motor may be operated at any desired power factors. Then the motor is operated at any power factors. That means the lagging or the leading power factors. Then the motor is operated at the lagging and the leading power factors. Okay, next coming to the making the synchronous motor is self-starting. Okay, normally the synchronous motor is not self-starting. That will be started by using the either extra DC source or the DC motor, or we are using the induction motors, or we are using the damper windings. Then we will start that synchronous motor. Okay, after giving that excitation to that motor, then that motor operates at the synchronism speed. Okay, first, what is the procedure for making the synchronous motor is self-starting? How it will be converted that synchronous motor is the self-starting motor? Okay, synchronous motor cannot start by itself. Okay, normally the synchronous motor cannot start itself. Okay, it is not self-starting. Okay, in order to make the motor self-starting, a squirrel cage winding is provided on the rotor. Okay, that is called as the damper winding. Okay, this is the damper winding. Okay, this indicates the damper windings. Okay, that damper winding is provided on the rotor. When we are providing the damper winding in that rotor, therefore we are start the motor with self. Okay, therefore the damper winding consisting of a copper bars embedded in the pole phases of a silent pole of the rotor. Okay, therefore this is the damper windings. The damper windings are consisting of a copper bars. Okay, these are the copper bars that are embedded in the pole faces of a silent poles. Pole faces of a silent poles of the rotors. Okay, then the bars are short circuited. Therefore, at the two ends of that bars are short circuited to form in the effect to a particular squirrel cage windings. Okay, therefore, this damper winding serves to start the motor. Okay, therefore, by using these damper windings, okay, therefore, the motor converted into the self-starting motor. Okay, to start with the three-phase supply is given to the stator winding. while the rotor field winding is left energized. Okay, therefore, to start the three-phase supply is given to the three-phase stator winding. When we are giving the three-phase supply to the three-phase stator winding, okay, while the rotor field winding is left energized. Okay, in this case, the rotor field winding is left energized. Okay, therefore, the rotating stator field is increases. Therefore, the rotating stator field is increases the current in the damper or the squirrel cage windings. Okay, the motor starts as the induction motor. Okay, in that case, the motor is starts as the induction motor. Okay, that is the procedure for the motor is in the self-starting mode. Okay, therefore, as the motor approaches the synchronous speed, okay, if the motor attains the synchronous speed, okay, what is the synchronous speed? That is ns. Okay, therefore, what is the formula for that ns? Therefore, ns is equal to, what is the formula for synchronous speed? That is ns. Therefore, ns is equal to 120 f by p. Okay, in this case, the synchronous speed is depending upon the supply frequency and number of poles. Okay, therefore, that synchronous motor attains that synchronous speed, that is the ns speed. The rotor is excited with the direct current. Okay, in that case, the rotor is excited with the direct current. Now, the resulting pole on the rotor face pole is opposite polarities on the stator, and a strong magnetic attraction is set up between. Okay, therefore, resulting the poles on the rotor face poles of opposite polarities. Okay, on that rotor we are having the opposite polarities. Okay, and the stator. Okay, therefore, a strong magnetic attraction is set up between the stator and the rotor. Okay, therefore, the rotor poles lock in which the poles of rotating flux. Therefore, these rotor poles are locked with that rotating flux. Therefore, the rotor resolves at the same speed as the stator field. Therefore, the rotor attains the speed at the stator field. Okay, at the synchronous speed. Okay, because the bars of a squirrel cage portion of the rotor now rotates at the same speed as the rotating stator field. Okay, this bars does not cut the flux. Okay, therefore has no induced current is them. Okay, what is the Faraday's law? Whenever the conductor cuts the flux lines, in that case only the EMF is induced. Okay, in this case there is no cutting of that flux lines. That means no EMF is induced or no current is induced. Okay, hence the squirrel cage portion of the rotor is in the effect removed from the operation of a motor. Okay, therefore the squirrel cage portion of that rotor is removed from the operation. Why? Because means due to the production of that flux lines that not cuts the current. Okay, therefore it does not cut the flux lines. According to Faraday's law, there is no production of the induced EMF. That's why this portion is removed from the operation. Okay, therefore it may be emphasized here that due to the magnetic interlock between the stator and the rotor poles, therefore, due to the lock between the stator and the rotor poles, a synchronous motor can only run at the synchronous speed. Okay, in this case, the synchronous motor is run only at the synchronous speed. Okay, therefore, at any other speeds, this magnetic is interlocked. At any other speeds, this magnetic is interlocked. Okay, therefore, the average torque becomes the zero. Okay, therefore, the average torque is becomes zero. Therefore, the motor comes to a half with a severe disturbances on the line. Therefore, the motor is come in the opposition. Therefore, the severe disturbances are obtained. Okay, this is the self-starting procedures for the motor, synchronous motor. And this is the starting procedures by using the damping windings or by using the induction motor or the DC motor, the mission that will be converted into the self-starting. And this is the working principle for that synchronous motor. Okay, clear now? Okay, clear. We continue in the next class. This is the procedure for starting the DC the synchronous motor by using the damper windings. Why? What is the use of the damper windings? How we will give the damper windings to the synchronous motor? What is the main purpose for connecting the damper windings? Okay, that all will be shown. And this is the motor that will be in the self-starting position by using this damper windings. Okay, therefore these damper windings are placed in the rotor. Therefore, it will be acts as a spherical winding. Therefore, the damper winding holds the motor. Okay, in this case, the damper winding gives the excitation to that motor. Then the synchronous motor attains the synchronism. Okay, clear, ma? This is the procedure for starting of the synchronous motor by using the damper windings. Okay, therefore this is the position fixed in the rotor poles for the damper windings. Okay, clear. We continue in the next class. Okay, this is the working principle and what are the starting processes for that synchronous motor and what is the making the synchronous motor will be in the self-starting mode. Okay, clear. We continue in the next class.